Are you a worrier or warrior? What do you choose? Choose, you say, Aditi. How is that even possible? Is there a choice? Suddenly I get this news or I talk to a friend, a thought just gets triggered, and all I know, in 5 minutes, I'm sitting in the middle of this huge worry cloud, not knowing what to do. Is it really my choice? If I knew I could have chosen something else, do you think I would have been here? I know, it feels really complicated. But if we have the correct method or tools to walk into the worry cloud, we can cut through it. How? Let's talk about it. Welcome to Absolutely Right, the very first graphology-based podcast show in India. My name is Aditi Surana. I am a graphologist, a high-performance coach, and host of this show. Being a graphologist, I study handwriting to know the psychology, the behavioral pattern, and more importantly, the mind blocks that do not allow us to move forward in life. Now, today we're going to talk about worry as that main mind block. Generally, our Friday episodes are much shorter, but today I want to talk about worry in different light. For example, I'll talk about a handwriting stroke that depicts worry in your writing so that you know whether it's a default mechanism or not. We will talk about 10 different ways in worry manifests, the way you experience it, and most of the time people don't know these patterns, so they cannot catch it. And lastly, we'll be using grapho journaling, this very effective, very powerful method of journaling through the anxiety pattern and going beyond it, getting out on the other side without having the burden that you were carrying for so long. So are you ready? All you require is a ballpoint pen and a rule book. Let's walk into the journey. Let's talk about everything that gets to you and does not allow you to be the warrior that you can truly be. Let's start. Grab any writing sample where you have scribbled something, and in that sample, look for lowercase letter r. If you have a loop or a knot in this letter, in the tummy of letter R, then that shows you worry as your default mechanism. Now, all of us worry, but if you have that in your writing, that shows that that worrying attitude is your default mechanism. So when you get triggered by anything, and I'm going to talk about 10 ways in which we can get triggered, that triggering automatically lands you in this big, huge situation of worrying, a trap that is extremely difficult to be broken. We'll talk about how to break it, but let's understand this particular trait in your writing can depict that. So do not take it lightly, do not discount it, do not say, oh, okay, how as if I'm writing work. Just give it a shot, because every time I have found this stroke, I have found a corresponding story where people have told me that actually this is my problem. Okay, so do not just take it lightly. Let's look at the 10 ways in which you worry, what exactly goes underneath. Point number 1 is coming up with all the possible reasons to discount the positive event, like the amazing event of your life. For example, if the presentation goes well, or if you really reach your sales target, you stand there and say, okay, yeah, it happened because other people were not working, pandemic was tough time for them, or it happened by luck. Point number 2, making negative interpretations of things without any evidence. For example, if you look at somebody and you see the person frowning, you believe she's doing it because she hates you. And obviously you knew that she's going to hate you, and that's why you always had that vibe with her. Now that may or may not be true, but we think like that because we fall into the trap. Point number 3, all or nothing. If your relationship is not all perfect, then you go like, oh my God, if I can't get at least that much, what's the point of being in this relationship? Like, is it even really worth it? Point number 4, overgeneralization of the situation, which means you are single for last 2 years because of the pandemic. Of course, that adds. But because you're single, you go like, oh my God, I will never ever get married. I don't think that's happening at all. Point number 5, believing the way you feel is how people look at you or how the situation is. So you look at the situation and you're like, oh my God, I think I looked very fat in that particular outfit. Everybody would have thought I am such an ugly person. Probably nobody paid attention. You don't even know. But because you believe that way about your body, you keep projecting those thoughts on other people, and you believe that they believe the same. Point number 6, you hold yourself responsible with very, very high standards of what you should and shouldn't be doing. For example, if you forget your ATM PIN code, then you actually become very hard on yourself, saying things like, if I cannot handle such a small detail about my money, how can I actually build financially free future? And then those ideas become overpowering, especially in the moments when worry takes over. Point number 7, expecting the worst case scenario, but remaining stuck with it. Now, I know this whole thing that we have learned about imagining the worst case scenario, preparing yourself for it and going and dealing with it. But that is an attitude of a warrior. In a warrior's case, he'll think about the worst case scenario, think of all the things that can go wrong, and will never gather courage to deal with it. And that's how worrying is completely different and paralyzing. Point number 8, labeling yourself on the basis of the mistakes that you make. For example, if you fail, if you break something, instead of saying, oh, this thing went wrong, you label yourself as a failure, as an irresponsible person, somebody who doesn't know how to take care of things. And now all these labels keep playing out because whatever conversation you have with yourself plays the most important role in building the way you understand yourself, the way you look at yourself. Point number 9, blaming yourself for things which are not in your control. For example, if your distant cousin who lives in another city gets COVID positive, then you stand there and say, oh my God, I should have called him. If I would have instructed him enough about all the things that he must follow to not get tested positive, probably that would have solved the problem. I'm such a stupid person. Now, this is not in your control. You absolutely couldn't have done much. But this is how the brain functions and holds you responsible for things which are not in your control. Point number 10, focusing only on the negative and discounting all the amazing things that you've done. For example, you are invited as a speaker, you give a great speech, but you pronounce one word in an incorrect manner. Now, instead of thinking about everything that you did great, you only focus on that one word and you keep thinking about it until cows come home, saying that, oh my God, people are going to think that I do not know how to speak because that one word was horrible. How could I do this? Now, is that true? Probably not. Now, worrying is a pattern. Like all other anxiety patterns, worrying is repetitive, it is predictable. Now, all you got to do is sit there and identify how you can build this, how you can break this, how you can go beyond the clutches of these repetitive thought patterns. Now, I'm going to say two things. One, you are not your thoughts. Like so many people believe that if I think like this means I am this kind of a person. No. The way you can train your body, you can also train your mind to think in a particular manner. And second, please do not believe all the thoughts that you have because all the thoughts and feelings are reactive. We're constantly interacting with our environment and so many times our thoughts that feel completely original come from other people and their fears and their challenges and everything that we consume as media and other conversations. So please do not believe every thought that you get. And that's why journaling is such an important process. And the last part of our conversation where I'm going to walk you through this 3-step journaling process. So if you're still with me, if you're still willing to go beyond your worrying attitude, then this is a time to pull out your ballpoint pen and ruled book and we're going to walk into the 3-step process. Step 1, I'm going to ask you a question that will trigger certain deeper aspects of your worry. Now, the question is slightly twisted at times so that your brain does not stay stuck to the rational and it goes deeper and resolves the actual emotional stuck up areas. Second point, where you'll walk into doing the graphotherapy stroke called Kama Sutra, a 5-step process where you actually learn how to do the stroke. The link is aditisurana.com/Kama Sutra. This is a very, very powerful practice during the lockdown. Just during the lockdown in last 12-14 months, we had more than 5,000 people who have tried the stroke, have learned how to go about it, and actually have solved their huge anxiety-related problems. So please look at it and give it a shot for you to decide whether it works for you or not. And the third step is where you're going to respond to the question that we had asked in a handwritten style. So let's get to the question and break the pattern of worrying. I always mention this one quote. You might have heard me speak about this before. When your body is helpless, lead from your mind. And when your mind is useless, lead from your body. Now, worrying as a pattern is all about your mind going crazy and going into a loop. Now, here, we will be leading the situation from our body. Now, you require a little bit of awareness here when you look at it, but all you got to do is ask this question, do the S-stroke practice. When it comes to responding, you'll actually start realizing where the sensation goes. And every single day, the sensation will change. So it's not like one person's answer stays consistent, it keeps changing. The question is, every time I worry, which part of my body becomes uncomfortable? So where do you store your emotions and your thoughts when you follow the worry pattern? That's part 1. Second part is, what can I do to relax or create movement in that part of my body. So for example, if it is your neck, can you create the movement in your neck? If it is your tummy, can you actually breathe into it? What can you do? And you will have to figure it out. You'll have to experiment with it. You have to probably move your body, probably you have to dance, probably you have to, actually figure your method of relaxing that part of the body. So many people hold their worry in their jaw, in their upper neck, in their shoulders, and also in their lower back. But if you identify and if you start relaxing those physical parts, worrying attitudes start breaking. You can't be blissful and worried at the same time. Thankfully, so we cannot do that level of multitasking. If you keep adding the physical patterns, then the mental patterns just follow and they start breaking. I know it may sound a little simple, but if you pay attention to it carefully, you'll realize that you have to follow the process, which means repeat these questions to yourself. Do the S-stroke practice for the entire page of your notebook and then move to handwritten journaling. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Do not get up without finishing that and just go with the flow and write everything that comes to your mind. You may discover the worrying pattern comes from a particular source. You may discover that there are specific triggers that get you to worry. Now you will realize things that are otherwise not in your awareness, and that's why it feels like an automatic process, which it is not. The very moment we start looking at these patterns, we get the capacity to break these patterns. For example, if you walk into a very, very dark room, you might be scared of everything around you. But imagine walking into the same dark room with a torch in your hand. The very moment you feel scared, you throw your light there and see whether the thing or the object is really scary or not. And that's exactly what happens when you worry, and that breaks the pattern. The next episode on Wednesday is a listener special. So we're going to invite some of you to be part of the show, and I will be analyzing your handwriting. So if you're interested in being part of the show, please write to us on write, WRITE, at aditisurana.com. Before I say goodbye, let me remind you that if you are dealing with anxiety and if you want solid process to break through that anxiety, then join our anti-anxiety journaling workshop. The link is aditisurana.com/lockdown21. It's absolutely free and it is created for all of you to deal with your problem as a social initiative. So for 21 days, I talk about 21 different topics and we deal with anxiety head on. So if you have liked today's conversation, that is a next step for you to take for sure. Let's connect on Wednesday. Till then, happy writing.